1, 2, is this on? Yo, Jimmy, hit me with that Triple H.
And we're live!
Hello and welcome to the 1, 2, Is This On podcast. Welcome back. Welcome back. We've took a little time off, haven't we?
We have
Just
indeed.
a little bit. You're looking refreshed, by the way.
I think we've had all this lovely weather.
Nice bit of weather.
Yeah.
I've been hiding under a rock.
I've
I've been trying to keep out with it, but looking well.
Looks like I've been on holiday to Jamaica for 2 weeks or something, and you look like you've been up to Iceland for a...
Bit of moonbeam. We've just had a little bit of a break. There's been a lot going on. There's been the Euros. We've been to a couple of soirees, couple of parties.
Couple little parties.
The Euros was great, right? I mean, I'm always club over country personally, but I love
The Euros was good.
Tournaments, man, class.
Big disappointment in the end, by the way.
Nice to get the final though.
It was really good to get the
Very
final.
nice.
But typical Newcastle United fan.
We're used to it though.
Yes, that's why we're over it.
Just running the mill for us.
They're still crying down London.
Oh, you know, well, I thought we were going to win it. Like,
I did. Well, we said about the final the wrong way. We should have
Negative,
went.
wasn't it?
I'm not going to slag Southgate though, because I think he's been really, really good.
Should have been knighted.
He has changed a lot of football for England because it was dross. It was terrible. But well,
I didn't think he should be. Like.
I like the way he talks. I think he talks really well.
Brilliant.
I think he's well liked. And I think football, international football, suits him.
Aye.
Really suits him.
He comes across as a nice bloke that all listen to him.
Yeah.
He's very he's just respectful to everyone, even the media.
Yeah.
The media go out to hound
Hound
the
him,
manager,
yeah,
and
they
he's
do.
handled them well.
No,
Couldn't
he's
take any dirt on it.
really good at media. No, there's no dirt. What was it? Somebody said though, like they never planned to win these Euros. They've planned to win the model that they'd set up was to win the World Cup next year.
Aye.
Did you see that? The
Finals of the Euros.
Finals of the Euros.
Or semis, not the semis of the Euros. And then win the World Cup.
Aye. So
That's the plan. He's ahead of schedule.
ahead of schedule.
But to not win anything and then be sort of touted to be knighted. Win it.
Yeah.
Fair enough, and he's improved them massively, but not for me.
No.
What else have we done? Oh, we've been to a couple of soirees, Paul.
Yes, we've had a few soirees, a few little shandies.
Sure, it's City Pools. One of the lads is 40th.
Yeah.
Went to that. Tell you what,
Yeah.
and, I can't drink as much as I could.
No, you can't.
Oh,
that was that night. Yes, when we it was more like a wedding other than the 40th. The venue that we were at
it
was
nice.
that posh. It was lovely. But then that's when we went back to watch the semi-final. Was it or the quarter-final?
Semis.
The semis.
Oh, no, it wasn't the
When we had a little dip in the hot tub.
Oh, in the hot tub, bit of a splash about. That was good. Oh, that was really good actually. That's it. There's no way I could go drinking with the Rockers anymore. Like, Jeanette doing hollies under the table.
I'd give it a good go, like.
I think you could.
I'd give it a good go, a Razor Ramon.
I've only just different kettle of fish now. I've only just recovered. And look, shaved my head, man.
Yeah, shaved your hair.
I've went sheen. And
He's clinging on.
I have to give in now. I was clinging on, as you probably would have noticed. But you know what I've noticed?
What do you notice?
I've only just noticed I'm the double around the Orton with this haircut. Oh no! Wait on that.
Oh, Christ
Almighty. Well, now look, right?
Uh-huh.
Put it this way, I was walking down the street and someone shouted, like, you look like Randy Orton. I said, well, actually, he shouted, you look like a serial killer, but I think he just got it wrong and meant legend killer, so I was like, I'll take that, like, so I think I'll keep this, let us know what you think. I think, alright.
Aye.
Definitely
you look
was
like
like
Randy Orton.
I can see it.
I look like Earthquake.
Right, not lately, man. Not lately. When we were at one of these soirees, one of my mates wasn't happy with them, was he? Got him a top
he
five.
wasn't happy.
Quite heated. He got very heated that a certain wrestler was not in the Intercontinental top 5, so of course a bit of a stir.
We have indeed.
For top 5, haven't we, really?
Not just that though, as well. Before we get into that bit, I seen in a group that I'm a member of a WWE group, old school group, and it just so happened that they spoke about Intercontinental Champions and they had the top 5 on, and them was saying Honky Tonk Man is the all-time greatest Intercontinental Champion, and I just think load of shite. So if any of you want to see this, if any of you want to see this, if speak about that on here, by all means, like, get in touch, because we will argue that case.
Well, he was in mine. I took him out.
Greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Some of the comments, this is what they're saying, but some of the comments were great though, because they said that Honky Tonk. Oh,
Sorry.
who the hell?
Sorry. Silent. That's very unprofessional of me. Sorry, carry on.
Alright, so some of the comments were saying, because he's actually, I haven't seen an interview, but apparently the Honky Tonk Man says that he is the best Intercontinental Champion of all time.
So he's saying it.
He's saying it.
Well, statistically,
So he must be.
He is. Statistically, of course it is.
Longest
He is. Longest reigning.
Yeah.
Greatest?
No.
Not for
I think we've got it right.
I do.
Yeah, we got it right.
We talked long enough about it.
Apart from the fact that we didn't put Bret Hart in and my friend wasn't very happy at all. I thought at one point he was going to nut us.
But we explained the reasons.
Oh God, yeah. And that was about 11 o'clock. Who is it? That was about 11 o'clock at night, maybe it's 12 o'clock at night when we've been on the drink since.
Couple of bubblies, it was a very good discussion. Right, and so, getting on, that's a little catch up for you. Every so often, what we're going to do is spend an episode looking at the career of a wrestler.
Yeah.
One that we deem worthy of the 1-2 is this on podcast. And this episode is going to be one of those episodes. So, we are going to call this segment The Tale of, and this week, or this episode, is going to be The Tale of
Triple H.
The Tale of Triple H.
I think it's only fitting that we'll start with somebody who, with theme tune, with Stoll.
Yeah.
Who was a member of the greatest stable in history of wrestling.
Definitely.
With that argument as well.
And leader. Ended up leader.
Yeah.
Not
and obviously, I think Worth was speaking how we've spoken in the last previous episodes. You'll get the feel that we are massive D-Generation X Triple H Shawn Michaels fans. So
let's crack on.
Let's crack on.
So what we'll do, we'll just go through the
Who is it?
I'm gonna have to answer it, man. Yeah, sorry, mate. I'll tell you on speaker. I bet you it'd be PPI or something. Well, it didn't even be PPI.
PPI.
Oh, they left their voicemail.
Hi, this is Slick Rick. I can't come to the phone right now for obvious reasons. But if you leave a message, baby, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Wait for the woo and the beep.
Hey, what a voicemail is that? Slick Rick? What's Slick Rick doing? Leave me a voicemail.
Slick Rick.
I wonder what the reason is he can't come to the phone right now. I know what he's doing. Anyone that hasn't seen that clip, that's well, you sent it to me.
I did.
Hey, unbelievable. The actual setting up, they sat in a little park, they sat in a picnic blanket.
Yeah.
There's a big stereo subwoofer thing in between. The Mr. Perfect's at the front, Ric Flair's at the back with a young lady.
It was at the time. It was a young lady that resembled Miss Elizabeth, because it was at the time when he was feuding with Macho Man. And
Was it?
he looked at all of the photos to have him on.
Right.
To see he was having an affair with Miss Elizabeth.
And that's linked in
Can
with
you
that.
remember that?
I can remember that. I didn't know that was linked.
Yeah, that's what that's on. If you haven't seen that video, you need to. We'll try and sort of link out on our Twitter page and all that. But the Mr. Perfect's face comedy, brilliant.
It's like he didn't even know what was going to happen.
Absolute brilliant.
Anyway, and so let's get cracking on with the Tale of Triple H.
Yes.
Right, and so his original name was Terror Rising.
Terror Rising.
Terror Rising, when he made his debut in March 1992.
Yeah.
Terror Rising.
But it was Risen though, so R-I-S-I-N. It started and then they changed it to R-Y-Z-I-N-G. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Doesn't make any sense, does it?
Well,
It's terrible.
they thought the rising bit was terrible, and then they changed it to rising
Rising.
with a Z in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was what he made.
Terrorising with his Ric Flair hair, should you
was
say?
horrendous.
It was like
It was
real.
horrendous. But well, it was keeping with the wrestlers' looks at that time, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah,
What a
definitely.
clip though.
I'd like to go back a little bit further when we talk about him as a wrestler. Did you know he started bodybuilding at 14-year-old?
Oh no.
Yeah, so he started bodybuilding when he was 14 because he wanted to look like a professional wrestler he seen on television.
Right.
There you go.
Who was the wrestler?
And he won Mr. Teenage Hampshire competition at the age of 19.
Did he?
There you are, and he's from New Hampshire.
Nice. So when he's always been a big kid, then really.
Yeah.
Must have been.
And then to go back, like from there into where he trained, and he trained at Killer Kozowski's gym.
Mm-hmm.
So he's part of that, and I think that's how he met China. Yeah, and the first wrestling match he watched involved Chief J Strongbow.
Ah.
I read about that. I haven't seen Chief J Strongbow. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know anything about
I've never
him.
heard of him. So was that his sort of? Oh, that was just the first match you watched.
This is what he watched, and he
Right.
was that young. He wanted to be part. That's I think what got him.
Got him in?
Yeah.
Aye. Hey.
So there you go. Just to go back before we
Even
go to
further.
WCW, a little bit of facts there. What I've done on my research.
Nice.
There you
Didn't
go.
know that. Well, moving forward then to January 94 is when he made his WCW debut.
That's correct.
And then that is when he became Jean-Paul Levette.
Levette.
Yes. Then after a brief spell there, he went to the WWF. Now, did you know that he was originally meant to be called...
I want to stop you there before you go to WWE because I think there's something we should mention as well.
Go on.
At that time and where he was at, because he was only at World Championship Wrestling, WCW, for a year, from 1984 to 95,
Yeah.
and they teamed him with
Don't know.
Lord Steven Regal.
Was he with Billy
He
Regal?
was with Billy Regal.
Ah.
So he briefly teamed with him.
Uh-huh.
So he had like the upper class British persona
Yeah. Mhm.
at that time, and you know he's done a little bit of that even, you know. So
Yeah.
so there you go. It was short lived though because then Vince got on to Triple H and got him across
Aye.
to WWF.
Uh-huh.
So there you are.
Which is...
Vince watched him at Starrcade match and made him an offer straight away.
Uh-huh.
It was exactly a year.
So he's poached him, really?
Yeah.
Hmm. Didn't know that.
I did that until I researched it.
Excellent. So when he came into WWF, that is when he... Oh, his name in the WWF was originally... Do you know?
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
No, it was going to be Reginald DePont Helmsley. Reginald
believe.
DePont, but it was him who actually suggested Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Lucky for him.
I know.
Imagine if he had stuck with Reginald DePont Helmsley.
I know.
RDH.
Oh,
Doesn't quite have the same.
definitely doesn't have the same ring. Definitely.
RDH.
That is actually quite a good fact. That I didn't know that. But
Uh,
well, we'll talk about him coming into WWE. That as Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Can you remember? I'll always remember the first person he sort of feuded with. One of the first people, like wrestlers. I didn't really like him as a wrestler actually. Henry Godwin.
Aye.
And they've done the. Did he do the? What was it called? The hog pen match.
Aye.
Wasn't it Triple H? Like,
Yeah. Aye.
Yeah.
It was in that. I'm not sure I've got this wee little runner. We'll move forward.
Oh, okay, sorry.
What we got here? So it was at backstage at WrestleMania 11 when he introduced himself to the Clique.
Right.
That's when they sort of got going. Teetotal as well, Triple H.
Teetotal, yeah. It's not a secret.
No.
It's well spoken about in Shawn Michaels' documentary I've watched. I've heard Sean Waltman, ex-Pac Sean Waltman, speak about it in the China documentary. Have you seen it yet?
No, I was going to watch it last night, but then
We'll review it on here.
Well, I wasn't watching Love Island, I can't remember. I heard you mean. I was looking in the mirror thinking, there's Ronnie Orton.
He'll be auditioning for the next series of Love Island. Oh my God.
Oh, 40s. Got to be something quick for them to keep you catered.
There'll be our belly Love Island. They'll be out of drink.
And I read as well that one of his sort of link-ins to the Clique was that he agreed to be the sort of designated driver.
Yeah.
Because he was teetotal.
That's why, because he was the teetotal one, yeah. So, yeah.
Then we've got, he made his pay-per-view debut for the WWF. Was at SummerSlam 1995 against, do you know?
Warrior.
Sparkplug
Holly. Right.
So that was his first sort of pay-per-view in the WWF. Then the 1996 Royal Rumble, he came in as number 1 and he lasted 48 minutes. And it was actually a member of the Clique, Diesel, who dumped him out. So that's a good run.
That is a good run.
Early doors in the WWF, number 1 lasted 48 minutes. That's a long time.
Yeah. So going back again. Let's go back again because we've jumped ahead. I've got some facts that see if you remember it within that time. When the Clique became obviously the Clique, he was. Did you know he was scheduled to win the 1996 King of the Ring?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that cuddle
Yeah.
ruined it for him and he didn't win it.
Aye.
Was the 1996 one the first one, by the way? No, it wasn't.
No.
It was like long before that. Who won the 96 one? I think it was Stone Cold.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Aye.
that's right.
So I'm a big believer in fate, me. So
Yeah.
So
because he broke character out doing that with that, so he got punishment, and he didn't have success. But did you know who became his manager and he won the Intercontinental Championship as this person as his manager, defeating Mark Merrow in 1996 on October 21st?
Mr. Perfect.
Correct. Well done.
I'm going to lead up to that. It's only because it's in my research that I knew that. Aye, what a combination though.
What a combination.
Both of them in the prime, that would be a great tag team.
Which get like that's what when I still say to this day I heard when Mr. Perfect done commentary, he changed Hunter Hearst Helmsley to Triple H.
Mm-hmm. Big factor in the change of character.
He said it on commentary when he done commentary. He likes to be called Triple H, and I can't remember if it was an event or if it was like a Raw or whatever, because I would love to find that clip of him saying that, because he was the one who said, I'm sure it was McMahon that he was sitting with, and he went, he likes to be called Triple H, McMahon, Triple H, that's his name.
It sounds much better.
So much better.
Better than RDH.
Yeah.
It's be called, imagine Reggie.
Isn't there Reginald in WWE? Was he the 24/7 champion?
I think that happened last night, aye. Wrestling girls though.
I don't know.
Sure he was wrestling.
Not interested.
Move on.
I know.
Where were we? Right, so then we'll move forward. So from after the 96 Royal Rumble, then he made his WrestleMania debut, of course, against the Ultimate Warrior, the famous no cell, and he got absolutely smashed inside 100 seconds. Which, that's not going to do your confidence any good. After that, you then had your curtain call, which was caught on home camera, which you just touched on there before. You know, some bloke, it wasn't in the time of smartphones, so someone's went to that, took the camcorder, one set of footage has just absolutely revealed the curtain, pulled the curtain back, and he wasn't happy. Well, actually, I'd read something where Vince McMahon wasn't too bothered at first, so to speak. But then I think your more sort of old-fashioned people kicked right off and said you can't do that. It's exposing it, so to speak. So which is when they got punished. As you said before, you couldn't punish your champ.
No.
Shawn Michaels was your champ at the time, so he got away with it scot-free. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash sneaked off the WCW.
Yeah.
Who's left to punish? The
game.
Game, aye. And because that punishment, as you were saying, he didn't win King of the Ring 96.
No, he didn't.
So instead of that, he suffered a 4 to 5 month losing streak, by the odd win over a jobber, until he feuded with Mr. Perfect. Now, part of that feud, which I watched, and the clips are on YouTube, to begin with, Mr. Perfect was injured at the time.
Yeah.
So he was on commentary. Triple H was coming down the ring with a lass, one of the Bonnie lasses.
Yes.
One of the divas.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Perfect, by the end of the match, would steal him off her. And that's how their feud began. Which was brilliant, man.
Yeah.
The perfect one's going to steal your girlfriend, isn't he? I don't know how many weeks that went on for, but every week he came down with a different lass.
Yeah.
Mr. P wrote off with her.
Yeah, he brought like a load of playmates, wasn't it, that he brought down from different... That's how didn't he bring Sable in? That's how Sable became involved, I'm sure.
Did he?
Sable became involved. I'm sure Sable was one of Triple H's valets.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Probably was.
I'm
Check
sure.
it, like.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. So off the
Oh, there you go.
Oh, you found it?
I found it. Sable was the valet to at WrestleMania when he lost to Ultimate Warrior.
Nice. Yeah, I never knew that.
Uh-huh.
One of Brock's all right there.
And Mark Merrow was the husband at the time.
Yeah, aye. Well, he beat Mark Merrow for his first gold in the WWF. Now, he was actually meant to fight Mr. Perfect
Yeah.
at this event, but Mr. Perfect
Got released.
no, he attacked. He got attacked by Triple H backstage. So Mark Merrow stepped in, but then the old switcheroo, Mr. Perfect then came out, attacked Merrow with the chair, and then Triple H got his win, and it was all a cunning plan.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good.
That is pretty good.
I
That's
can't really
like
remember that.
no, I can't. But it's like
I remember them feuding.
you can see where some of DX stuff stories come into it, the way they used to do things in that what you've just said there, because that is something that they've done.
Aye.
Like the obviously they're perfect. Them pretending that they fell out. He's jumped on him, but then it was all a cunning plan, and he jumped on him, and he ended up winning. Yeah. Do you know who he dropped the? Do you know who he dropped the belt to after that? So you after that,
well, he feuded with Goldust.
Mr. Perfect left the WWE. And like obviously Triple H eventually turned on him. This is at the same time when he won the Continental Championship, and he held it for nearly 4 months before dropping it to on February 13th, 1997 special episode of Monday Night Raw.
The Rock.
Elaborate.
Rocky Maivia.
Correct.
Not the Rock. He wasn't Rock at the time, was he? Oh, he used to come down
with his tassels.
Oh, I love being a wrestler. His curly hair and that. Oh, fans love it. And the fans didn't love him at that point. I didn't like him then. Like, I would never think at that point he would become what he is today, and he's just cocksure.
And we, the tender young age of 17 years old at that point, well, no, would have been 16.
That's what we were.
That's all we were. Yes.
No.
So it's a very long time ago.
It is.
So the special episode of Monday Night Raw was called Thursday Raw. Thursday. I can't remember that. Did you know for a very brief time as well, they put him with a bodyguard to be reminiscent of Ted DiBiase and
Oh, no.
Virgil.
Who was his bodyguard?
Can you remember? I think we might have spoken about him on here before, actually. I think I might have brought him up
Who was it?
when we spoke about The Undertaker. Mr. Hughes. Can you remember him?
I can remember Mr. Hughes. I can't remember him being with Triple H.
Hey, that nah. Very brief time, apparently.
Aye.
I can't remember it either.
Hmm.
So, yeah, and then that's when he lost the Intercontinental Champion, then he started feuding with Goldust. He had a massive feud with Goldust for years. Well, it seemed like years.
He says something, right, that they fell out, and Triple H said something to Marlena, and I've tried to find out what he said about her, and I can't find it. And it upset her, and it upset Goldust. But I can't find it. There's no footage of it.
If you know,
I
give her a tweet.
I don't know, because I can't find it, and I'd love to know. It's going to be something a bit rude.
It's got to be.
About her appearance or something she gets up to.
Then that's when they brought China into it, and that
was around Mania 13. They brought China in, and then kicked on from then. That's when he won the 1997 King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Getting a bit of heat behind him, so he was punished really for a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course.
That little cuddle in the ring set him back 12 months. Who did he? I don't know why I'm questioning you, because you probably know, but who did he beat in the final to win King of the Ring 1997?
Mankind.
Correct.
Hee.
I don't he went on to have a great feud before he fought Mankind. He also fought the other faces, Dude Love, Cactus Jack. The cage fight was class. That had mint falls count anywhere. Fight as well. That was brilliant. Really, really good. This was
all start of 1997.
Mm-hmm.
And 1997, you've got what was formed?
DX.
Degeneration X.
Aye, pretty much not long after that. So he was with Michaels. That was your original DX. Shawn Michaels was your leader.
Helmsley,
China, Rude. And then, I need to check this, right? You know, in WCW when they did the finger poke of doom, was it the finger poke or finger blast or something?
Finger blast of
doom.
Finger blast.
What's it called? You know, where Hollywood Hulk Hogan prodded Kevin Nash, dropped the belt, and they won the belt.
Yes.
Because that's what DX did with the European belt.
Can you know? I remember this well.
I remember the fight. Was it at the same time?
It was Shawn Michaels held two belts.
Aye, in the Sergeant Slaughter made him defend.
Oh God, it was great. We used to love it. They were brilliant, man. The comedy, just bringing all that back to Slaughter. And he used to spit on them, and that patter was class. The best patter ever, especially for young 16, 17, 18-year-olds like myself, were just
brilliant. He was going about Slaughter's wife, saying his wife's not happy about his privates. And then his flag was always at half mast.
This was like real in the Attitude Era, where it was like proper close to
get away with it.
It was really good.
Absolutely class.
But the European Championship bit, that match, I remember that match. It was dead funny. They just kept running off the ropes, but as they were running, they made it look so theatrical. It was so funny. Like Triple H was hilarious because of the way he took the big strides as he was running. And then I think all that they done was they met each other with a chest.
Aye.
And then Shawn Michaels just went like that on the floor. Triple H just like looked, he just went like that on the top, and then he won. It was funny.
Class, man. Totally in the face of the establishment. What a
great crack.
Brilliant.
Absolute brilliant crack.
Then, so moving on from that, Shawn Michaels left because of his injury. And Triple H became the leader at DX. So this was sort of version 0.2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Then with that, he DX feuded with the Nation. Yeah. Specifically The Rock, so he was going in for the Intercontinental Championship again. That was like the second time round. I was watching something, was the dawn of the Attitude Era, and Mick Foley was talking about that, and The Rock and Triple H fell out, during this feud, where they didn't like each other, didn't sort of go into it how they fell out, but they didn't like each other at this period, and The Rock was going slightly off script to get under Triple H's skin,
Right.
and he was talking to Bruce Pritchard, who was
Yeah,
one of the
yeah,
creators
that's
at
right.
the time,
Yeah.
and him and The Rock were discussing, and Rock was saying, I've got these great ideas, I want to say this, but they just won't let us say it. And that Bruce Pritchard went, if you want to get underneath your skin, are you prepared to get wrong off Vince McMahon? And The Rock went, yes, I'm prepared. So went out, started calling out Triple H. Triple H wasn't ready for this, got under his skin, and it just made for great matches because you could tell they were actually they like each other. Brilliant stuff. And it just shows now it's too scripted now.
Yeah.
Back then, not as scripted, but still stuff got knocked back.
Yeah.
But the wrestlers had the balls to sort of turn around and go,
I want to see this.
I'm going to see it. I want to see it. I want to get under his skin. I'll take the rap off Vince McMahon. Vince paid off with it. Didn't he really benefited from it because they were just brilliant.
No, definitely.
Some of these promos were great. Then
great promos. That's what worked for him, didn't it? Really, the promos. That's what got him good. But again, the non-scripted stuff, definitely the best stuff. Off the cuff, it's got to be.
And that made Triple H retaliate as well
Yeah,
with a better promo, probably more personal than it
Yeah.
would have been if he hadn't just stuck the original script.
And it was great. It was a great feud. The Nation of Domination with DX. And I mean, again, you'll never see that happen again on television. Never mind WWE television, where the DX dressed up as the Nation, because you just can't do that now.
Push the boundary there. Well, actually, it wasn't really pushing.
I mean, it was just it was just like they don't like people doing how they're dressed up. They don't like white people putting on the shoe polish, which
it's not acceptable now. Is it?
No, but at that time, there was no racism about it. It was just they were trying to mimic them and just try to make it funny.
Fun.
And it was really funny. I mean, can you remember Owen Hart? There wasn't a member of DX. It was somebody came out that got it, like somebody. I don't know who it was. We'll have to find out. Because they had the Nation, and then they got somebody to be Owen Hart, and they had like a little weasel guy. Can you remember this? Can you not remember this? And he was dead jumpy in the wee spoke on the mic and all that, and it was like dead like Owen Hart, God rest his soul, and it was like dead funny. And you had, who was it? X-Pac was Mark Henry, I think.
I was.
Road Dogg was D'Lo Brown, was he?
Yep, I think so.
And then you had Triple H was The Rock.
Aye.
And then you had
the paint on eyebrow.
Badass Billy Gunn as the Godfather.
Yep.
And China, I don't think China was anybody. But then you had this one as Owen Hart, because you remember Owen Hart being a part of the Nation.
I was in the Nation.
It was when he wore the black tangers with the danger sign.
Aye,
And then, but that was really good, like you say, that led up to their feud, led up to the Intercontinental match at WrestleMania, I think it was, the ladder match.
SummerSlam 88.
SummerSlam,
For the match, what a hell of a match
it
it was.
Was a great match.
I beat The Rock, SummerSlam 98, but then not long after that, he dropped, or had to drop the belt due to his knee injury. His knee bad. So he was out for a while then.
That's right.
Then when he returned, obviously he went straight back to DX.
Didn't The Rock win the belt, the championship at Survivor Series after SummerSlam?
Yeah.
So he had moved on, but then they continued with their rivalry, because didn't he blame The Rock for his injury? He did.
Yeah.
And then he received a title shot, and it was an I Quit match, but then Triple H was forced to quit to go to China, who was chokeslammed by Kane.
Aye.
Hey.
Nice.
This began a new thing for Triple H in China.
Because
Is this where they split up? So he joined the corporation.
Aye, so when he returned to DX, they then feuded with the corporation.
Yeah.
And that was when China turned on Triple H. China turned on Triple H.
She must have found him out that he was cheating then.
Possibly. But then, you're not going to like this. I thought this was brilliant. Triple H then joined the corporation.
Yeah.
Do you remember how he defected?
He's done in X-Pac.
Turned on X-Pac. 123 loves X-Pac, by the way. Absolutely loves it. When he smashed them all over, I was like, get it! See you later, X-Pac.
Done. But I think, like, obviously, on the subject of Triple H, it was a big turning point in, like, his career again, from being left to rot after the curtain call to getting, like, into the corporation, being by Vince McMahon's side, by the way, showing how much he had been starting getting let on to be able to be in there.
He's just grafted, hasn't he? Grafted all his way to get back
so,
up, proved his worth.
And it was the change, and that led to which is probably what you've got next to the McMahon Hemsley era.
Well, no, that was a bit later on. So what happened was, he joined the corporation, but that didn't last very long. He then split from them, and that's when the shorts and sledgehammer came out. That's when he changed his appearance. Then he went on to capture the WWF heavyweight belt for the first time the night after SummerSlam '99, beating Mankind. Then, this is where China sort of got pushed to one side not long after that.
Oh yes, because the story feud continued when he married.
That's it. And in my opinion, that was one of the best ever endings to Raw when he crashed the test
wasn't he against the double crossed again? Well, didn't he? Because wasn't he against Vince? He was feuding with them, and he had Stephanie knocked out, like asleep in the car, knocked out in the car. But she was pretending. In the end, she was pretending.
It come out that
Did you know that? Did you know? Did you know? I read this the other day that Test could have been Triple H. That they were actually going out with each other in real life, Test and Stephanie.
Were they? I didn't know that.
God rest his soul as well. He's dead.
He's passed on.
I read that.
So were they going out
when Triple H cheated? They cheated. I think she was with him. He was with China.
And then actually
one thing led to another.
Dirty bastards. Right for them wrestlers, isn't it?
Hey.
So then, moving on. I think he revealed that he'd married Steph when he drove her through a drive-through, wasn't it?
And that's when it became the McMahon head.
That's when we're coming into that. And then she came out and said she wasn't really drugged. I don't know if the maybe changed the storyline a bit.
Yeah.
You know, you're drugging a woman.
Yes.
Getting her married, maybe he's had a few complaints. That's pushing it. Then, so moving on from that, the feud continued with Vince McMahon. You had Armageddon '99 when he beat Vince McMahon.
Yep.
And that is what gave us the McMahon Hemsley era.
Didn't she come out and double cross McMahon?
She stuck with Triple H,
Yeah.
That's when they were running the show, when they used to sit at the top of the ramp. They were making all the matches. It was great. I thought that was excellent. Great. I loved Triple H at that time, and I thought she was good. She was good by his side. And when they were paired up, that's when they did grow closer.
Yeah.
And I think it was a backlash against Mick Foley, where off script Triple H gave her a kiss.
Right.
And she got the butterflies.
That's right. I watched this on one of the documentaries. I don't know what one it was.
I think it's an Untold with Triple H and Mankind. Right. It's on that.
Right.
And then she was like, "Ooh, I like a bit of the game."
Yeah.
And she just went on to play the game several times.
Which brings you on to the McMahon Hemsley era, which he then dubbed himself. January 2000, he dubbed himself in the game.
Yes.
He was on top of the wrestling world. So I've got a fact about the game, by the way, here. Did you know that the game was actually decided for a different wrestler?
Did not.
That you did not know.
Who?
I'll let you have a guess. So
when we're talking, this was about 2000.
So 1999,
2000 when it became the game, wasn't it?
So it was somebody that they had...
Probably would have said Test.
No.
I
actually decided it for somebody, but...
It's not something like... It wasn't the Beast, was it? Dan the Beast Severn or Ken Shamrock?
No, it's somebody a little bit more, I would say, I'm also to say more wrestling wise famous type of thing.
Oh,
I'm a famous wrestling family.
don't know.
Owen Hart.
Owen Hart.
Owen Hart.
Owen Hart was potentially going to be the game.
Yeah. And Triple H took up the nickname as a token of a tribute.
Ah.
That's
Nice.
something. If anybody knows anything about that, I read about that, and I don't know if it's bull, but that's what I've read
Well, he
when I've
was.
done my
He was
research.
brilliant, Owen Hart, so
It makes
pretty much
sense.
was the game.
But that's why, and didn't they get on well? I think they got on well, Triple H and Owen Hart.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got on really well.
I believe it.
Uh,
I also read, just touching slightly off subject, Owen Hart, everything they had pretty much planned for him, Kurt Angle ended up getting.
yes,
They put a lot of stuff on the back
before,
burner,
yeah.
and Kurt Angle got it all.
Which makes sense because he was a good wrestler as well. Kurt Angle. It's another episode.
He needs his own little tail, doesn't he? Right, and so that brings him to the year 2000. He had some brilliant. He is the game at this point. He's coming. He had feuds with The Rock again, street fights, and he's Hell in a Cell against Mick Foley.
Yeah.
Absolutely class, man. Brilliant.
Him and Mick Foley feuds were brilliant. Good.
Some of the matches.
Aye.
I mean, that Hell in a Cell. I mean, the Mick Foley Undertaker Hell in a Cell is always going to be the best.
Yeah.
They're never going to copy that, but that
No.
came close.
Yeah.
Very close. The backdrop through
Yeah.
the top of the cake. Mick Foley was a real one.
Yeah.
No,
He was unreal, but do you not think, like, when you talk about greatest wrestlers and people talk about wrestling, Triple H is underrated?
as a wrestler.
Uh-huh. If you think that,
I do.
let us know your feelings.
I think he's.
Do you think he's rated highly as a wrestler when they talk about the best in the business and things like that? Do you really think that they talk about him as one of the best in the business?
I see what you're saying, like.
Do you know, are you with it?
So, like your Mount Rushmore, you've got your Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold,
Yeah.
The Rock.
Now, I've been thinking about this. Do you think that they don't say these sort of things because he's in a suit now and he's in there and like he's in and around it and he hasn't like retired like the other ones properly, where he's had a retirement match or anything like that, but he's still involved? Is that the reason why? And it's not shown as, you know, he's never had his farewell and they say like he was one of the best and stuff like that, because
Possibly.
let's be honest, his
He's
matches were great to watch.
No, he was brilliant.
They were very rarely rubbish, by the way.
Possibly, yeah. It's who he's up there with, you know what I mean?
No, I know, it's just something that I've been thinking about lately. You never hear them talk about Triple H, like
one of the great. Maybe it's just because he's still
in
active.
and around. Aye, that's what I'm saying. Is it that reason?
Possibly.
Like, you know, we talk about Jericho is one of the greats. Yeah, he is.
I'd say Triple H is better than Jericho, like.
But,
He evolved his character title-wise.
I'm going to have to sort of disagree with evolving characters there, because do you not think Jericho's done that immensely well?
Very, very well. But no, I wasn't saying that he has done that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
You know, the change with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
terms, which Jericho did. Jericho's probably done it the best.
Best, yeah.
But Triple H did it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, I do.
See where I'm coming
totally
from?
understand.
Like, for instance, I haven't watched it for a while on SmackDown. I've seen SmackDown, clips of SmackDown at the weekend, and I was always a bit unsure of the Roman Reigns. And when I seen his crack on SmackDown, I started laughing, and I thought, well, he griefed John Cena, and I thought his grief for John Cena was meant when he says, "It's the same. It's still the same. It's the same music. It's the same clothes. It's the same run. It's the same promo. It's the same."
It was good. When I watched that though, you know what I thought? He's just nicked that off The Rock.
Aye.
The Rock did that.
Aye.
Said he was boring, hadn't changed. Give it the Fruity Pebbles thing, coming up with a different top, but that's all he changed.
Aye.
But he had a bit more edge to Roman Reigns.
Aye.
He's on about missionary in that. I thought that was funny. But great heel, Roman Reigns.
Aye,
He's
no,
better as a
yeah.
heel,
Yeah.
full heel, than he was one of them in between ones. And
Yeah.
So I didn't really like him in the Shield.
No,
Bland,
definitely.
wasn't he?
But point being, John Cena, apart from a ruthless aggression, John Cena, when he became, it hadn't. His character was so well liked. He probably didn't need to do that. Really, I mean, as everybody wanted him to turn as a heel because they wanted the Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan change type of thing, thinking it would be that big. But that was my point being. Like, you've got him, who some they talk about and all that. I think they talk about John Cena more than they talk about Triple H at the moment and all that. And you think, well, no, he doesn't lace his boots for me, like, because I don't think John Cena's is nowhere near top 10 wrestler for me. Nowhere
I've
near.
never really thought about it. I hold Triple H in a higher esteem than John Cena. Like, the kids sort of love John Cena though.
They do, aye.
That's probably what pushed him.
That's probably why
Triple
we
H is a
love
much
Triple
better
H.
wrestler
Aye,
than John
God,
Cena.
aye.
Though. But John Cena as a character, when he came back, I say,
Aye.
get him. Someone who got booed so much,
Aye.
just because everyone got bored of him.
Aye.
Right then, okay, so that led into his feud with Kurt Angle as well.
Great feud.
Where he was sniffing about Stephanie McMahon.
The
That
love
was
triangle.
class. That led to a great match as well. Brilliant. Then after that, his storyline went through, and he was revealed that he was the mastermind behind the Stone Cold being run over.
Yeah.
Which was a year previous. I think they must have changed the mind there, like.
Yeah.
Because it was Rikishi wanted.
That's right, I was Rikishi.
But it turns out Rikishi didn't do it for The Rock. I did it for The Rock. He did it for Triple H.
Yeah.
Which was a bit horrible, wasn't it?
Yeah, Rikishi had a big push then, didn't he? He was always like feuding with like the top.
Aye, he was right up there.
Yeah.
Turned him heel. He was in that Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah.
With
I
all the
remember
big
that
guns.
one. That was good.
Very good, going from Too Cool to that. It was quite.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. Then after that we've got Mania 17, which was when he lost to Taker. So he became 9th in the streak. When they fought for the second time at Mania, they never really referenced that Undertaker.
Yeah,
And
I'm just looking at my notes there, and I've got that bit, and you've skipped past something that I had in before that.
Yeah.
He had a little brief run as a face again, defeating Chris Benoit at No Mercy.
All right.
And then he reverted back to his heel in his feud with Stone Cold Austin, that's when it paid for Triple H had paid off Rikishi to run down Austin. Aye, so
right.
that was in there. So he was face. So I don't know if he come back from injury or something like that, but he was a goodie before he turned back body to do all that storyline with Austin.
Right.
There you go. There you go. And then they done the 3 stages of hell match. Yeah, you can remember that.
Oh, they did. I actually quite like them matches, like. But yeah, I always knew. And they had just ended on 2.
No.
Always like the 3. Never 2.
No.
Then after he became number 9 in the streak, that is when he formed the 2-man Power Trip, which I loved. Absolutely loved
Loved
that.
him as a tag team.
Taught to everyone.
Didn't have the 4 belts.
They had a lot.
Aye.
They had a lot. But that only lasted 2 months.
Is that all that was?
Why? I thought it was a while. That's when he tore his quad
And,
in the tag match. Then won. Yeah, and that's when he was out for 8 months.
8 months.
Roughly.
8 months, and we've already done his return in the previous podcast, where it still brings goose pimples every time I watch that, because it's one of the biggest pops ever at Madison Square Gardens when he comes out at that, and that's actually the podcast where you stitch us up. I'm stitched up.
Well, people listening to it, I did a little bit of editing on the YouTube video. I wasn't stitching you up. I thought it looked really good.
It was good. It just apart from that didn't look right.
I'm sure you'll get his back. So yes, he had his 2002 return at the Royal Rumble and he won it. Then from that Royal Rumble, you had WrestleMania 18, which is when he beat Y2J for the undisputed belt, which was very good. I wanted Y2J to keep it at that point.
Can you not remember though before that bit as well? I'm just looking at it. No, we've missed out the bit where he had the Jeff Hardy. He defeated Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental belt, and he won it 4th time, and he beat Jeff Hardy for the belt. Oh, I've picked that up wrong, because I thought that must have been, that's when they had the Power Trip. I do apologise.
Power Trip.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, a couple of good matches with Jeff Hardy, actually.
He did, aye. He did, so did The Undertaker.
When he was undisputed champion, along the way, he split from Steph and became a face. I don't like face, Triple H. Rubbish.
Rubbish.
Rubbish. Didn't like him. And he's clean shaven and that one. It just wasn't very good.
He was
That's harsh. He wasn't rubbish.
No,
But he was
I'm not gonna say he's not rubbish as a face, right? And what I'm gonna disagree with is this clean shaven bit, because we're leading up to that bit where we're getting to Evolution, and a lot of Evolution, he had a clean shaven face, and I think he just looks ridiculous.
He does.
But Evolution. So we'll carry on.
Sorry, I'll keep going then.
Yeah.
Okay. So he split a step. That's when he became a face. He was rubbish. Then briefly, DX reunited. He turned on HBK. That's when HBK came back. He had his street fight, which was class at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels ditched his tangas, was wrestling in Wrangler jeans.
Wrangler jeans, cowboy boots.
Then I loved that because he teased it, Shawn Michaels, for ages, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was the face in that. Was he going to wrestle? Triple H was antagonising him, and then eventually they had the fight. That was really good, really, really good. So that then shuffling along the timeline next, he was handed the big gold by the Bish.
The Bish,
Just
yeah.
handed it. That was just get handed the belt.
That was in that when Brock Lesnar took the belt to SmackDown, and
that was a splitting brands. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have to have a champion on Raw.
Yeah, but before that, we've missed a bit. The conclusion to the McMahon Hemsley faction, where they've done like a divorce storyline with Stephanie aligned with Jericho afterwards.
I can sort of remember that.
So Triple H's on-screen marriage with Stephanie was like given the old flaws.
Aye.
Alright. So Stephanie faked a pregnancy.
Yes. As they do.
To get her back, to get Triple H back on side. And then he faked. When he found out she had faked it, he dumped her on Raw. And they were supposed to renew their wedding vows, and they didn't. And she aligned with Jericho, but she was forced to leave after losing a triple threat match after on the 25th of March episode of Raw, when she was pinned by Triple H. The divorce and the storyline was finalised in Vengeance.
When was that? What was the year?
That was just after. It was 2002. And that was when Shawn Michaels came back. And how did Shawn Michaels come back first? How was Shawn Michaels introduced back? So before they doing the DX bit, nope, he was commissioner long before that. He was commissioner on the Attitude Era. So he came back as part of, bearing in mind, Triple H missed the full Invasion era. He missed the Invasion, so WCW's gone. NWO.
Yeah, that stupid berry on.
The berry.
And he was
This wasn't a Kangle. It was a Kangle!
Mind you, if you want to, actually, we don't want any candle goods, do not sponsor us.
I know, so then Triple H moved to the Raw brand at Vengeance. And he reunited with Shawn Michaels July 22nd, and he performed a pedigree on him, which was supposed to be the DX reunion.
I remember that, and I remember being gutted.
Yeah.
Gutted, but at the end of that great feud, and that brilliant match. So he was on Raw, he was handed the big gold, and that's when Evolution sort of came into play.
Evolution?
He recruited Big Dave Batista, Ric Flair, and Young Randall.
Young Randall, who you look like. Young Randall, who he looks like.
Double. Tell you.
A young Randall Orton. Randall Bob Orton.
I didn't like this. At this point, he was just beating everyone. You know, a bit like John Cena was beating everyone. Got a bit boring. He just, was it 2003? like the biggest people, pretty much all the WCW ones who came over, he was just smashing all over. Big Papa Pump, hammered him, Booker T, Goldberg, Kevin Nash. I think he might have lost to Goldberg, but then beat him up.
He lost to Goldberg after holding it for 280 days. So he held it for well over a year.
Ages, man.
No, just under a year, sorry.
Long time. Yeah, it's, you know, for something that's scripted, it's a bit boring. To beat all your
And he did, but at that time, can you remember, at that time, he was, he put on a bit of weight. It was as if he had been carrying an injury, because remember he wore cycling shorts under his tangas.
Aye.
And that's when he looks terrible without his beard, because he had his shape. I know he used to have the handlebar beard, like Lemmy. He had that in Evolution.
And the lamb chops.
Yeah,
I like that.
He had that, but then he had no beard, a lot of it. And he changed his tangas. I don't know if you remember, he was always like a grey black tangas, like dark grey black tangas. But he changed them to blue. Can you remember this?
I can't remember them all.
He changed it to blue, and this is where he was part of Evolution. Which leads into he had a match with Kane with shit tangas on. And he's no beard, shit look, and it was a mask versus title match. Did you know that?
Yes. And was it the following night on Raw when?
No, that's when they
Was
had
it
that
on Raw?
on Raw.
Aye, and then LVD came down and
To try and stop Kane from taking his mask off.
aye.
And he beat him up, and that's when Kane took his mask off.
I did, aye.
There you go.
I quite like that.
Yeah, I did.
His hair was all a mess.
Yeah.
And I remember that match because Randy Orton and Ric Flair got involved in there quite heavily in the match.
Yeah.
It cost him. I had that did like him.
Nah,
He had the one eye, he had the patchy hair,
the
that,
patchy
and
hair,
the pish eye.
yeah, and
Is that not when he started talking?
no, he started talking when he was with X-Pac. Suck it.
See, that was menacing. I like that. See, we're moving past attitude here.
I know,
like it
I know.
right and goes a bit skew with for me.
Well, that's it with Triple H, because obviously, yeah, we're doing old school wrestlers and stuff like that, but with Triple H goes the distance.
Right,
He's
true.
done it for a long time.
Yeah. So then he lost the belt to Chris Benoit.
Yes.
Eventually, hurrah! And then this led to Randall, young Randall.
Randall.
Oh, Randall.
Randall Orton.
Winning the big gold. And this was a good scene, I thought, when they turned on Randy Orton. He was the young upcoming star, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then they all turned on him, just picked him up, give the thumb sign, didn't he?
Down.
Triple H, thumbs up, turned it, then he got backdropped or
Yeah.
whatever it was. Then they turned on him. And then he beat him at Unforgiven in 2004. So Triple H gets his belt back. That was at Unforgiven 2004. Then he fell out with Batista and fought him at WrestleMania 21.
Yeah, he did indeed.
Batista has a very good win record over Triple H. Triple H has never beat Batista.
Honest to God.
Never
I did
beat
not know that.
No, never
I
beat him.
didn't know that.
But the Mania 21 match, I remember there being a load of claret. It's just all over.
Yeah.
A lot of cutting there. That was a good match. Very fit eye. Never beat Batista.
And which they had that fight in Hell in a Cell at Vengeance. Can you remember that?
Yeah.
And Batista became the first person to pin Triple H inside the cell, and he had a few matches.
Aye. That was the first time he'd been pinned in the cell.
Yep.
Nice.
And then that's when he took time off because of an injury with minor neck problems.
Correct. So he disappeared. So that was 2005. And then he returned. And when he returned, he feuded with Ric Flair, which wasn't too bad, actually.
No.
Ease you back in. One of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
You're riddled with injuries. Good person to come back with.
Yep.
Even though he's a bit of a geriatric.
Is that when Ric Flair was Intercontinental Champion? Didn't he have an Intercontinental Champion
He
run,
did
Ric
have an
Flair?
Intercontinental run when they feuded, though there was no belt. I don't know
No.
because it wasn't for a belt. And then after that, Triple H is getting back into the swing of things. 2006, if we move swiftly to, he fought John Cena at WrestleMania 22,
22, yeah.
which was your famous He-Man entrance.
Yes.
Triple H definitely did not have the power. What a clip.
That
That was disappointing. What are you doing, man? Whose idea was that?
Well, I think it might be his. Is that the one where Cody Rhodes took the mick in AEW and the chair was there and he smashed the chair
That's
up
right,
with
in the sledge, alright. Rightfully so. Well done, Cody Rhodes. Whoever came up with that idea, I want shot.
I wonder why they keep picking on Triple H for though.
I don't know. Don't know. Whoever. Unless it might be him. It just might be crap.
I know.
Coming up with ideas for himself. Obviously very good at NXT. Unless Stephanie McMahon's just agreeing. Alright, Steph, I want to be He-Man. Okay, you can be He-Man. Rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. Then where...
He had a load of losses though, didn't he, around that time against when he fought with John Cena and he was feuding with him.
I did.
And he lost quite a lot of matches and then this is where he started performing crotch chops in them matches against Cena and Triple Edge.
That's it. It was the tease, wasn't it? Which he was face again, bit better.
Yeah.
Turned face, reformed DX.
Yeah.
So this was a lot more PG DX,
Yeah.
and the face. Well, it was Vince and Shane won it.
Yeah.
And the Spirit Squad. Because they dropped a load of crap on them. Remember that?
It was
the Spirit Squad. Dolph Ziggler slipping out.
It was the oh god, my mind's gone blank. What do you call it, man? I don't want to say the word that I was first putting into my head. Slime.
Oh,
Slime, and that's where they let the luminous green DX came into
That's
it.
it, and it was that glow sticks.
Glow sticks.
Glow sticks, man.
Yeah, it was like being back an icon.
I certainly was. Then, after they finished that feud, they then feuded with RKO.
Yeah.
That was another great tag team.
Yeah,
Rated
it was
RKO.
Rated RKO.
Brilliant. Edge and Randy Orton.
Yeah.
And they didn't win the tag belts off them. They never beat them.
They did not really.
Nah. Put them over well.
Did they hold the tag belts then too? They must have.
I don't. During that incarnation of DX, I don't think
They did.
No.
Wow. There you go.
Then we've got New Year's Revolution 2007. That's when his toys other quad
Mental.
was doing a spine buster. How unlucky is that?
I know.
That's two massive injuries, man. And to do both quads. But he wasn't out as long, so it mustn't have been as bad as a tear. And he returned at Survivor Series 2007 when he feuded against Booker T. I thought Booker T as a character was brilliant.
Brilliant.
When he came from WCW, class.
He was.
As a wrestler though, his matches were awful.
He was. The character was class. I loved his character. Price tag on a jackass.
That was brilliant. That's one of the best fights ever. Austin Booker T. Absolute brilliant. Milk all over. I think
Like
that's up in the loft.
That's up in the loft.
I'll find that in the loft. We'll dig that out. We'll dedicate some time. That was brilliant.
God, that would be full of laughs.
Class.
But yeah, Booker T was good as a character.
He was good. Then moving on, same year, Triple H regained the WWE belt at No Mercy, but then lost it quickly. He then won it back again at Backlash 2008.
Yeah.
And he then held it for 7 months after that. So he went on a bit of a winning run there. Then that takes it up to WrestleMania 25, where he fought Randy Orton. For me, that was one of the best build-ups to a Mania fight ever. It was class, really good. But the match itself was just let you down. Orton had legacy at the time. Ted DiBiase, Cody Rhodes.
That was a good stable.
It was, and he tuned Vince. He kicked Vince all over. They'd done him over, and that was when they got Stephanie McMahon and he handcuffed her. Handcuffed Triple H so he couldn't get to it. And he did that, the setting up DDT.
Yes, yeah, the one on the
brilliant,
floor.
what
Yeah,
heat that was. And then
yeah.
give her a little kiss. Triple H. I remember
crap.
being fuming, that was just class. And they went to Orton's home.
Yeah.
And Triple H chucked him through his front window.
Yeah, it was class.
Oh, superb. But naughty Randall. Naughty Randall. Giving Stephanie a little kiss.
Naughty Randall Orton.
But, you know, to keep with routine, Triple H won in Mania and won the WWE belt. But then dropped the belt 3 weeks later at Backlash.
Which is one of the shortest reigns. WWE reigns, that.
Is it?
It's one of the short... One, not the shortest, but it's one of the shortest.
Kane had a short one, didn't he?
Yeah, and Bob Backlund, I think, is the shortest one, isn't it? Bob Backlund beat... Yeah, he won it, and then he got absolutely annihilated.
Kevin Nash or Diesel.
Yeah, Diesel.
No, I didn't like Bob Backlund, me.
Hey, that did hard, definitely not.
Awful. Look a bit special.
No.
That just I didn't quite get it. I didn't like him. Didn't like him as a wrestler. He wasn't eye catching, was he really?
No.
No.
Was it a 3 stages of hell match he lost at Backlash? No.
Don't think so. No.
No, he just...
Then 2009, DX reformed again. This was part of, well, it's mainly for Shawn Michaels, so it was his final run as a full-time wrestler. So it was a bit of a send-off.
Yeah.
Really. And it was alright, but once again, PG.
Yeah, DX was never the same when it was PG. I mean, you couldn't really...
Shawn Michaels, wasn't he? He just wouldn't do.
No, that's true. That is very true.
I've read something where they had a load of ideas pitched and Shawn Michaels was just going, no, Jesus does not agree. No. So there's a bit was like hot dogs.
That's right. That is right. I remember.
Shawn Michaels wanted nothing to do with it, so it was just Triple H.
They done the hot dog bits with Sergeant Slaughter in the early days as well. Sure, so
you had the divas in there, and Shawn just wasn't interested. I mean, it was still good and probably still some of the best entertaining.
That second that 2009 stint of DX. Can you remember Hornswoggle became the DX mascot?
And they sprayed him all over. He got a good kick, I don't remember that.
And then I think Tyson came on to host. He teamed up with Jericho to face DX, but he turned on Jericho and he went with Triple H and Michaels.
Oh.
Alright, so that was like it at that time. And can you remember the Straight Edge Society?
Yes. CM Punk.
It was CM Punk and Luke Gallows and.
Aye.
Can you remember Luke Gallows though? Just before he went with CM Punk, and there he was him.
And then it used to click, and he would become this. You know,
Wasn't it?
It's a funny old character. I like him in AEW, by the way.
What they call the
Good Brothers.
The Good Brothers,
Aye, they are good. That's Straight Edge Society, not to be confused with Right to Censor.
Not to be confused with Red Censor, yeah.
Steven Richards.
Stephen
That'd be
Richards.
the next Shawn Michaels one.
He was indeed.
Didn't get the character as a good wrestler.
No.
That pretty much brings us towards the real end of Shawn Michaels' Triple H's full-time career. He went in, then after the DX and Shawn Michaels' final run, he ran with Sheamus. Sheamus
Sheamus because they travelled together then.
Aye, well, he was a big sort of pusher. He must
Yeah.
have had a little bit of influence at this point still backstage, and he was pushing Sheamus quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then after that was when he took up his
Chief Operating Officer he became. COO, Chief Operating Officer. He's not really, fun fact, he wasn't really a COO. He was actually the, he was, what is it? Oh, where's my bit? I had it before and I've lost it. He was... the talent and relations. That's what he was. But they had him down as a COO.
Sounds a bit better, doesn't it?
Yeah, and he's done that for 2-3 years, I think, right up until the Authority.
I like that. Aye.
Was brought into the authority, and that's still part-time stuff.
Did. I mean, he still had some good matches when he dropped down to part-time. He feuded with Taker, CM Punk,
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar.
And that
Of course, the authority thing.
The authority, yeah.
I did like
But that was him. I think that was them trying to big Seth Rollins up even more. Because I think like it was like that's what they've done, and it's what they do in it now.
They break a stable up, don't they?
Yeah.
Pick someone out. They've sort of done it with a New Day, haven't they? Big E's.
Yeah.
He's been primed.
Rightfully
Rightfully so. He is
Yeah,
good.
definitely.
I like Big E.
It's just I suppose it's not serious enough, but like you say, it's not the attitude era anymore.
It's not. Nah, definitely
No.
not. And of course, a massive thing in his career that happened around about this point. Shaved his hair off.
He shaved his hair off.
Shaved his hair off. I remember when Undertaker first shaved his hair. You text me actually, saying Undertaker cut his hair off. That was a similar reaction.
The same reaction.
No.
No.
What you doing? But he's just got short. He's completely bald now, isn't he?
Completely bald.
Wouldn't stop on the heat, mate.
Hey,
He's balding off. Just happens to
And
all
then,
of them like me.
and then we had the Bald DX.
That,
They were horrendous.
they were just unlucky. That match,
It was-
you had
yeah.
what? You had 4 of the most experienced wrestlers.
Yeah, if you watch the Undertaker's documentary, the last ride, it's
They're devastated on them
they're
afterwards.
devastated. Aye,
You've got. I wonder how long it took them to
tried to
finish
right wrongs
Shawn
the first time, and it just got even worse.
Just, it was a shame.
But that just tells you though, when you get too old for something, Dean, it's time to give it up. This knacker playing football and hurting his back
I'm all right.
at 44-year-old.
I'm not 44. I'm not 44, alright? So I think this is a good time to bring this to a close before I get any more grief. So that was it. That was Triple H's Tall Tale.
Yeah, Triple H, Paul Levesque.
Paul Levesque. So there you are. We hope you enjoyed that. And we'll see you next episode.
Yeah.
He has been the 1, 2, 3, 4.
And you've got Big Dean 316.
It was me, the Big Dean 360.
And if you're not down with that, we've got 2 words for you. No, but thank you very much. We appreciate you, and keep it sweet.
Keep it sweet. Woo!